right. Please join me in bringing up, of course, the distributor, John Poole, our director, Janos, Edekenyi, and the most amazing actor we know, Brian Cox.
How much of this applies to your own life career?
Well, you know, when you're asked to play a role like that, of course, your own life has to come into it. I've been acting since I was, well, I've been in the theater since I was 15. I'm now 70, so that, work out the maths, that's 55 years. And 55 years of my life kind of goes into this movie. So there was, particularly the last speech, I'm quite proud of, because it was the last speech that I sort of partly wrote, because I've watched so many actors get up and do their speeches, and they never do it properly. They never really tell the truth. You know, they're so busy thanking their agents and thanking everybody else, and, you know, and thanking the mother and father and what have you. But they never actually tell the truth about the job and what the job entails. And that was the great opportunity. So in a sense, that was the interesting thing for me, was to have that moment when you can actually tell the truth about being, as opposed to attitudinizing what you do in life. And so St. Michael, and there's also, he's a tragic figure in the fact that in his great acting days have gone because of his condition, but he still has the spirit. And the great thing about being an actor is it's a vocation. It really is. And it's about your spirit. And it's your spirit that finally shines through. And when you see the great actors, Olivier, Schofield, Richardson, Marlon Brando, you know, John Gielgud, you know, the great actors, apart from Brando that I've worked with, you see this tremendous spirit, this tremendous thing that they're in touch with. It's a very privileged thing to be part of. So, in a way, the film, I always call them plays, I don't know why I do that. It's because of my theatre background. The film is very much a sort of homage to that, and it's very rare. So it's a unique, and yeah, there's a lot of investment in it, personal. Okay?
Another question, please. How long did it take for you to prepare for the role?
Well, I've been preparing for it all my life, really. You know. I have friends of mine, two great friends of mine, developed Parkinson's in the last couple of years. One, unfortunately, it signified the end of his life, tragically, which was Robin Williams. And the other one was Billy Connolly, who has completely, I mean, if Robin could see what Billy's done, I think Robin would still be alive, because what Billy's done is he's made Parkinson's as part of his act. He walks on the stage, and Billy Connolly, he used to do incredibly physical gestures, and it was very physical, but now he stands at a podium and he has one glass of water, and he talks about how the whole evening one arm comes up to meet the other arm. And he's completely still, but he's outrageously funny. But he's using his illness as part of his spirit. So that was how I prepared the role. I kind of observed people in that situation, and also just learning the lines. There was a lot of lines, you know. So I had to get somebody to beat them into me.
We have our first question from Twitter. Can you tell us about the young actress who played the carer?
What is the question?
The young actress who played, do you remember her?
Yeah, of course I do. I just didn't know what to answer. I'm in love with her, so, well, properly, as a grandfather. But, I saw an outrageous interview in, like, the Cosmopolitan in Hungarian. Oh, actually, it's an English paper, the Marie Claire in Hungarian. And the headline was outrageous. It said, Coco Koenig on the wings of success or something like that. And it was a silly article about a young half Hungarian, half Austrian girl who was playing on the stage of the famed theater of Bertolt Brecht in Berlin in a play, a very small role. And Mary Claire, of course, blew it up and made it Coco Koenig on the wings of success. But that was just one small black and white picture in the article as an inset, which made me think that her face, her truthfulness, her plainness in a way, in a nice way, could be good. So I found the connection, and together with the Hungarian producer, the next day and next week, we traveled to Vienna. I let her read the script, but made with her an outrageous improvisation. And I decided that it's her. Originally, I wrote the original story, of course, Gilbert and Tom, two wonderful writers, wrote the script from the story I wrote. But the story was written for a Bulgarian actress who played in my previous film. Brian was kind enough and generous enough even to give me 2 days of his life when we were preparing for the film, and we made one scene from the film as a sample, so to speak. But I realized that as much as I loved Vesela, that's her name, and I want to say her name, Vesela Kazakova, and she's a wonderful actress, and I think she was wonderful in my previous film, as much as I also loved her. But she was, and I know it sounds terrible in a way, but I'm not saying it in a terrible way, that she was too old for the role, because the role, as I realized, was for an 18-year-old, somebody who is so fresh, and there is, like, even though she has the character, hidden agenda when she becomes the carer on the career. What a depressing thought. To Sir Michael Gifford, she needs to be someone whose face says that there is no hidden agenda. I just want, as the character says, she has this fire in her belly. So I talked to Vesela first and asked if she would mind if I gave the role to someone else. And because she agreed very graciously, I gave the role to Coco, whose this was her very first film role. That was the very first day she spent in front of a camera. Now I think she's on to big things. As Alan mentioned you before the film, she couldn't come tonight, although she really sends her wonderful, wonderful love to such a wonderful, and she didn't even know what a wonderful audience you are. But she's now rehearsing in Salzburg, Austria, in a classic play called The Rubber, and she's going to be in Assassin's Creed in a small role, but in a big film. So I think that she's having a great career ahead, a great career ahead of her, and she was just great. I think I took her and introduced her to Brian after she was cast, much prior to the film, and I confessed to Brian that I was a little bit jittery about the boldness of my decision of taking someone so untried. And after we met and had lunch together, Brian told me, "You are safe." Thank you.
Yes, a question. The question is, why was the daughter so strong?
What do you mean? Well, you could say both ways, you know, that she was very much a victim of the father. This is a rather domineering man, you know, who's sort of dominated the lives of those around him. He's always been the center of the focus of the life. And we all know families like that, where the matriarch or the patriarch becomes the focus of the family. And sometimes the children have to battle their way to make their own identity. And I think the passing, the references to Lear is very much in this King Lear, Shakespeare's King Lear, is in the film. The fact that Regan and Goneril are both very strong women, but they're also women who have suffered at the hands of their father from being ignored, for being overridden, and so they learn to be strong in order to deal with it. And she's had to make decisions, particularly to do with her father's ill health, because she is the only child. So she is legitimately quite strong, and I think Emilia does a fantastic job, actually, in the film, because she is so central to the film, central to the kind of the opposition to Michael, and I think it's very legitimate. I think families of, you know, that is the story of families with strong children who come from strong parents, and children who have to find their own identity despite being overshadowed by their parents. I mean, I've known a lot of famous actors' sons or famous actors' daughters who haven't pursued the profession, but have found other ways of being particularly formidable in what they do and finding their own strength. You know, the theatre profession is very unforgiving and very tough to those around them. And it isn't, I know for a fact, I have 4 children, and I know that it's not easy for them having a father like me who is, you know, reasonably successful in what I do. And it's tough for them, and they have to be strong, because they have to be strong in their own identities. And I think that's clearly why, in this case, the daughter is strong, because she has to be strong in order to deal with this not easy father. He's not very easy, is he? He's funny, but he's not very easy.
Yes.
I think it was brilliantly written. The entire film, one of the best I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Very good. Our distributor is very happy at that last remark.
Yes, thank you. If I may say something, first I wanted to thank Alan for having the same taste that I did choosing this movie. All my competitors overlooked the film for some reason. I couldn't believe it. And when I saw it, I just said, this is one of the best films I've seen. I've been in the business 40 years. I own films like 8 1/2, Fellini, Vitelloni, Bicycle Thieves. This film is up there with them and above them in the entertainment value. The performance by Brian is just spectacular. And I just get chills with the opportunity to distribute this film. And I also want to say it's so great as a distributor to see this fantastic audience which really appreciates a great film. Thank you all so much for coming and for your appreciation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We have another question from Twitter for Janos asking about the ending. You ended kind of at the pinnacle of the film rather than tying it up or having more to it. Was that on purpose? What led to that decision?
To the end sequence.
Right, you ended on a high without having any more.
Well, that's the only way I can imagine. I can't say good film. Who am I to say what a good film? A film that I liked, a film that I would want to see. That's the only way for me to give that word that I can't pronounce in English because it has a T and H, catharsis or something.
Cathartic.
Oh, okay.
Catharsis.
Yeah, catharsis. Thank you. When
Problems I had during the whole film.
that somehow to bring together in one scene most of the elements that have been dealt with in the course of the film, the father-daughter relationship, the father acknowledging her daughter, the release, his confession of him being not right about hiding his condition, wanting to say something about the human condition. Also, to pay the joke off with the wonderful to be or not to be. Did I mention, or did Coco mention the film? It was written by a Hungarian, produced by...
Yeah, we know. Oh my God, the Hungarians. We had this throughout the whole film. Did you know it was written by a Hungarian? Yes, we know.
So I wanted, but there's one thing that I might say about it, and that's probably, for me, the most magical, most beautiful aspect of filmmaking, that the director is considered to be the author of the film, and you know, in terms of responsibility and in many other aspects, that's probably true. But it's such a collaborative effort. It really is. If it's a good film, or if it's a good crew, then it's a work of all the people that work together, almost like organizing a festival. It really takes so many. And in this particular aspect of the end, we had in the script, the final shooting script, which had changed until it got to that stage, that Sir Michael takes the letter out of his pocket jacket, and reads that, please welcome the new student of the dramatic art, and so on and so forth. And Brian told me in one of our discussions that it's a little bit too cheesy. I don't think it's good. It's not good. We had the joke about the to be or not to be, and she prompting him like in the film, and so on and so forth. And then the cameraman, the director of photography, who's my best friend and a wonderful guy, Hungarian, of course, like all the great. And
I'm surprised I was even in this film, I can tell you.
And from the image point of view, he thought of that, what they call the royal box, that box next to the theater, which reminded him to the booth, or whatever they call the prompter's booth that we saw in the Lubitsch film. He was not Hungarian, unfortunately.
Lubitsch was not Hungarian.
So this ending sequence, which I also like, and I haven't talked about the composer who wrote wonderful music.
Was he Hungarian?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So the ending, like everything else in the film, but this in a very symbolic way, is not mine. It's not Gilbert's. It's ours. We who made the film and everything. And that was just the last minute one-time joke by Brian of forgetting. It was not in the script. He says that I died many times, sometimes even when it was in the script. Now, it wasn't in the script that he forgets the little statue, and he went back. And then I realized only in the editing room when the film was finalized that, oh, we got one more joke in the film that would help to get that catharsis, the release.
Cathartic release.
Thank you. That is why we have English actors. So.
And you need them, and I'm not English.
Yeah, I know. And but English speaking. Anyway, and then the joke with the 3 newspaper clippings that come in between the end credits was the editor's idea. So it really is the most beautiful aspect of filmmaking, and probably many, many, many other professions, is that you let your people contribute their ideas. Yours is, as director, the ultimate responsibility, what you take on board and what you don't, and you know, you pray to God that you make the right decisions. I hope I made the right decisions in this instance, but it was really, really collaborative. And thank you for the many ideas.
Yes, sir.
The man who broke the
man who broke the bank of Monte Carlo. I knew I got it from somewhere. I couldn't remember where it was from. You're absolutely right. I stole it completely from Peter O'Toole. No, I did. I knew. I thought, well, there's nothing original. You know that, don't you? It's all about stealing, you know. But the thing is, when you steal, only steal from the best. No, it wasn't. You just reminded me that it was Peter O'Toole and Lawrence of Arabia sings the man who wrote the Bank of Monte Carlo, about the Bank of Monte Carlo. No, it was just in my subconscious, and I thought it was apt for that moment. Yeah. No, you're right. I've forgotten all about that. Wow.
Every working day, and we had very few of them. This was probably the biggest hardship in making this film. We didn't have enough money, as usual, but we really didn't have enough money, and we only had 28 shooting days, which is a great war with time. All the time and so on and so forth, but every working day begins with me to go to the makeup room or the dressing room, you know, greeting the actors, because they are the most important persons on the set, and everything is about them, and all my work is about them, to try to create that atmosphere that they can bring the best out of themselves. And almost every morning on this morning, which was not a conference, it was just, hello Brian, how did you sleep, are you well, blah blah blah. And Brian always came up with an idea, and it was one of his ideas that, what about this song? And he has already written it out, and so on and so forth. I think I would want to sing that, and it became, again, a trademark moment for the film.
Just a few more questions. Yes, ma'am, you had one.
It's what is called acting. It's a dying art. We don't see a lot of it around, you know. I mean, it's what I love about my job, is that I can be working with the Sutherlands playing an absolute bastard and playing somebody like this. You know, it's acting. You know, it's all acting. And we don't see enough of it. You know, we're so busy getting fed all these kind of blockbusters and seeing the same guy play the same part again and again and again and again and again. And my influences are the great actors, the Alec Guinnesses and, you know, and the Paul Scofields and the, you know, the great screen actors, you know, and Brando at his best, you know. It's the variations, it's the difference, what you do which is not the same. And it's a great opportunity, you know. I love it.
It's good we still have some great ones.
Pardon?
It's good we still have some great ones.
We still have some great ones, yeah. It's good. Thank you.
Thank you really for your kind attention, not only to my mumbling, but for loving the film and watching the film. Thank you very much.
So, one last question that I was actually asked on the way out, which is a very important question. Somebody asked me, I love this movie. When can I tell my friends they can see it?
We're working on that right now. We're hoping we have an opening in New York and Los Angeles in October, November. Usually takes 5 months once we get the rights to get the exhibitor on board, but I don't think we're going to have any problem. And once we open in New York and LA, wait for the reviews, which should be very good, and good box office, and then out into all the other markets.
You could actually, and I recognize that the lady wants to ask something, I'm just interjecting, and it's like soliciting, and it is soliciting. It's very important that if you are on Facebook or on any social media, or if you have friends, to spread the word, because these days, these kind of little films, and I mean little in terms of how much money we had to make it, and many times even now I feel that it should have been done differently and more you know, elaborate and so on and so forth. Probably it would be for the worse, I don't know. But it really helps John's work if you get on the internet and you tell your friends and so on and so forth. The film, just a month ago, exactly a month ago, was shown at the Edinburgh Film Festival. And those, what they call bloggers, you know, one of them is a 9-to-5 electrician. He tells him about himself in the blog. He wrote the best review of this film. Not only in the sense that he was full of praise, which was wonderful, but he understood the film. And I dare all the great reviewers whether they would understand the film the way the simple people for whom the films are made, or at least I'm trying to make films.
Here, the audience is the best critic.
Absolutely. I'd like to say something about the film festivals. And like a festival like this. These festivals are so important. I can't tell you how important they are, because they're the lifeblood of these films. If we didn't have festivals like this, we wouldn't have the chance. It's the first foothold, it's the first handhold in a very slippery surface for making films, and especially independent films, getting them out here. And it's people like Alan and his staff who really do an extraordinary job. And thank God for them, because if it wasn't for these people and it wasn't for this kind of festival, these films would not exist. So in a way, they create the films as much as anything else. And it's great. It's the best thing in the world, is to play these films at these festivals, because you get an audience who really love the job, who really love the cinema. And that's why this festival should be as successful as it is, and continue to be as successful as it is. Because it's so important that these festivals happen, because it's the lifeblood of these movies.
Hear, hear.
Okay. I think we had one last question here. A question about the dedication at the end of the film.
Gilbert.
As I told you, I wrote the story, but I knew that I could not write the script. I have not even the foggiest idea whether a Sir Michael is being, you know, called at home Michael, Mikey, Sir Michael, whatever. And this is just obviously the very surface of the thing. I knew I needed a writer, and a real writer and good writer. And thank God I found Gilbert Adair. That's the person whose name you saw. He wrote wonderful pastiche novels in the manner of Agatha Christie and all the good crime writers and great crime writers of England. He's also a critic. He has written a film that Bernardo Bertolucci directed. It's called The Dreamers, and he wrote a film which is a wonderful film, and good that you asked, because I would never make the connection. It's called Love and Death in Long Island. It's with John Hurt. It's a wonderful film. It probably did not have that kind of festival promo. It was here. It was here. Okay. 20 years ago. So anyway, I began working with Gilbert. He read my story. He agreed to work on it. We had a wonderful time together. We had very great, so to speak, creative differences, but it was not the creative differences and not the raw that was between us on these issues, but very tragically, his life ended after he finished working on the script, so it was not during, and I still needed work. And then I brought the third writer, Tom Kinnenmont, who is also a Scotsman and who has worked for years and collaborated with Gilbert on many films. Gilbert's last film, Blind Revenge, he was the producer of. So in a way, I felt working with Tom that I continued working with Gilbert beyond the grave. So that is why his name, because we owe him.
And in fairness, it was Gilbert's script that brought me to the project. I saw things and kept discovering things in his script. It's a fantastically good script. Very underrated script, because it's not a script that it doesn't jump off the page at you, but when you work on it and you dig in it, there's all kinds of nuance in the script. And it really was Gilbert's script that actually persuaded me to do the film.
John Poole, Janos Edekenyi, Brian Cox, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now you don't forget your...